Well, hello, hello, hello. It is Weigh-In Wednesday, and the scale was not kind to me. And I did not expect anything different because I spent several days eating nothing but carbohydrate foods, which were not healthy carbohydrate foods. Pies and stuffing and cornbread casserole, hardly any protein. So I put myself into a carbohydrate coma, basically. And so, yeah, that's behind me now. The scale is like up 4.4, which is a ridiculous amount. There's no way I gained all that. But I can tell you that I'm all inflamed. And I kind of mentioned that already yesterday. And so, what do we do? What do I do? I put it behind me and I keep on going because this is part of life. And these are the things that happen when you eat things that are not in your best interest to eat when it comes to the scale and how you feel, because I feel quite crappy. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am feeling very tired and just bloated and just not very good at all. Low energy, pardon me. I did get a haircut today finally. They cut off at least 3 inches. Thankful that I got that done because it was out of control. And I have very, very fine hair, so it does no good for me to have long hair like that. So anyway, I'm going to try to stop playing with this now. It is late in the day. We've just had our meeting with, I've just had my meeting with the weight loss company with Zoe and our lovely group. And it was a very nice meeting, as it usually is. And we talked about what's in store for the Christmas holiday with regard to eating. And are we going to be planning for the Christmas day? Or are we going to not be planning? Some strategies for when we have social occasions that we may be having, because the holiday season brings that kind of thing too. You catch up with people, you go out to eat, maybe you have a few drinks type of thing. If you do that, you're invited to people's homes and they have all kinds of food out, snacky, picky things that Zoe was talking about, having gone out with a friend yesterday. And I think that their appetizer, which basically consisted of nothing, their starter plate was like a cheese straw and 2 pieces of cheese, some crackers, and I'm not sure if there was anything else on there, but she figured it out to be 400 calories. So, wow, that's a meal for me. Sometimes even more than a meal, depending if it's lunch or dinner. But so thinking about those things, not, but at the same time, it's really important to enjoy the holiday season because for myself, if I'm going to be invited somewhere, I want to go and enjoy myself. And as I was the only one in the group because I'm not in the UK to talk about. I've already been through this holiday thing and eating with the Thanksgiving holiday having just passed. So my attitude is okay, I did this. I'm not necessarily happy about it, but I did enjoy it while I was doing it. Pardon Leela. She always has to be in the video when I'm in this room. So when it comes to that kind of a thing, my son brought home, he never does this. He brought home mega pies from a bakery in Nanuet, New York, that Oprah Winfrey is a fan of their red velvet cake, and apparently they make a blue velvet cake. So it's a very popular bakery. So I was wondering if maybe he participated in a school fundraiser or church fundraiser or something at work. He brought home the apple pie was over 5 pounds. When I picked it up, it was like, wow, this is heavy. And then he had a coconut custard, he had a pumpkin, cherry, a carrot cake, like a giant carrot cake. But fortunately, he brought most of that to work. So he told me naturally to take some pies, plural. And I'm like, no. I took an apple because he had 2 apples. It wasn't sweet. It was really delicious. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't have eaten it because I really am a person that likes home baked goods. I'm not really, unless it's like an Italian pastry that I wouldn't make myself from a really good Italian bakery. I am not really, or maybe a giant cinnamon roll from a cinnamon roll place that, a place that specializes in that. Um, I can't remember the name. Cinnabon. We used to have Cinnabon. That was their primary delicious delight making, and they would show, you could watch them how they were making it at a kiosk in the mall. But other than that, I mean, I can make my own cinnamon rolls as well, but I really prefer not unless Terry's making it or somebody else is making something homemade. So that's a good thing for me because it keeps me out of trouble. Because if I were the type that was going to go into a store and actually buy something in a bakery section, it could get very dangerous for me. So I thank myself lucky that I'm not drawn to that. Um, so anyway, yes, I enjoyed it. The coconut custard was out of this world. It really tasted homemade. The crust was superb. And again, I'm not one that really likes sweet pie. So that really was not very sweet at all. And I also enjoyed it very much. But now that's behind me. It's gone. It's done. So my strategy was exactly what was suggested because the flip side is, let's say you decide you're not going to enjoy. There are some people, I think it's a bit of Karen. I don't want to misquote anyone, but I think it may have been her that said if she goes somewhere and she deprives herself, and I know it might for myself, I'm possibly if I have things in the house, which generally I don't, and doesn't have, like let's say you go out to dinner, and Dish with D also has said this many times. She's a Weight Watcher channel. If she goes out to eat, let's say Denise, and she wants a dessert in an Italian restaurant. So she, let's say, wants a cannoli. And she doesn't have it. She will go home, quite possibly, and just raid the cabinets. And just keep on having this. Because she feels deprived and she's searching for that taste of that cannoli, let's say. And she's not having it now. And she's pissed off because she wanted to have it. She didn't have it. All that good stuff, right? All that mental craziness that we can do to ourselves. So rather than that, she'll order one, she'll have a bite or two maybe, and then the rest her husband will have. And I think that Karen of a bit of Kaza, who is a weight loss person in Wales that I watch, I believe she's also talked about this, where if you really, really want something, it's best to have some of it at least, because if you don't, then you will feel deprived, and that could be enough to really derail us. In some cases, especially in the holiday season, especially if in the holiday season you have things in the home that you normally wouldn't have because you're gift giving and you maybe bought a box of candy or you bought a box of cookies and they're all nicely wrapped, and then you might decide, well, at nighttime you're going to go into one of those that you bought for someone and you're going to have it yourself because now you're really pissed off because you didn't enjoy yourself and everybody else enjoyed themselves, and you know how this all goes. It's the same song in a different way for each of us, I bet. So, planning also, if we're going to go somewhere, that we maybe curtail our calories during the day, not starve ourselves, but plan out what we're going to have so that we have enough calories to almost at least try to cover what we may be having when we go out. And if we're going somewhere where we know what the calories are, that we could at least make a better selection, provided we like what we're having for those calories, and sort of get ourselves through it, but enjoy everything that we had. Because again, if we don't enjoy what we had, we're just deprived, and then that leads to all kinds of bad stuff. So for me, I had this gain this week. Last week I had a remarkable loss. Okay. So I had the gain now, but I enjoyed myself. So I could sit here and cry in my socks, blah, 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 my scale, my scale, my scale. No, it's called I put it in my mouth and now the scale went up. It's not my scale's fault. It's not my fault either. I made the choice and I'm living with it. It's called adulting. So let's just adult and move forward as opposed to being all upset with ourselves and being angry at ourselves and then trashing everything, because that is very likely to happen to me when I do that. So keeping in mind also going into the holiday season, we're very, very busy. We get busier as we get closer to the day, and having 15-minute meals, 30-minute meals, having slow cooker meals for our dinners so that at least we know we're going to have a calorie controlled situation. Or if you're doing Slimming World, you're going to have a sin-free situation for your dinner or low sin dinner. Or if you're doing points on Weight Watchers. It's going to be low points or 0 points, and so on and so forth. So maybe pull out your slow cooker, make a soup. That's a really quick meal. You can get a rotisserie chicken and just, you can do great things with that. You can make chicken salad. You can make chicken fajita. You can make, just slice it up on a plate and make yourself some gravy and put some vegetables and a potato, and you're good to go with that. Or a salad, chicken salad, chicken in a salad, or some other good things you can do with that. You can make soup with that. Take some of it and make yourself some broth, throw some vegetables, throw some macaroni in there, some noodles. They cook up quick. Ramen noodles. Beat up an egg, put that in there. You've seen me make that a few times. That is the quickest thing ever. And it's very filling. It's a hearty, warm, comfort type food for the cold weather we're having. So those are just some suggestions and ideas. And I thought this was a very good conversation that we had in our group, because as we do get closer, it does get harder, especially if you have social events booked for yourself with people. You want to have a good time. It's just the way life is short. Does that mean that you need to eat 5,000 calories in a sitting? No. But I think that when we put less rules for ourselves, we oftentimes do better. If we focus on all the rules, we kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, and then we end up just screwing everything up because we've been so hyper focused on rules and doing things perfectly that is generally not very likely to happen during a holiday season if you're celebrating, especially this time of year. I mean, Easter is generally Easter week, but I think Zoe was saying over in the UK, it feels like the holiday season started on November 1st, like the day after Halloween. Because also, why the stores are also contributing to that. Because when you go into the stores, you see everything Christmas and all the Christmas junk foods and the appetizer stuff. So it kind of is in your face even more that it's the holiday season, right? And that makes it even more difficult to kind of avoid it. If you don't, out of sight, out of mind, can't do that if you're going into a supermarket right now. Not where I live. I was in Walmart today. Oh my Lord. It's wall to wall. You go in Home Goods, you go in Marshalls, it's wall to wall, all junk food, all holiday, Christmas driven novelty candies and snacky things, all very high in calories and not things that we would generally eat if we were calorie counting, so to speak. But nonetheless, they're there, and we have to find a way to get around it. And I'm not saying it's okay to put 10 pounds on at Christmas. Nobody wants to do that. But you know what? If it makes you get through it that you put a couple pounds on, better that you did it that way than you end up putting on even more pounds because you sabotaged, because you're angry and pissed off. And now here you go, and you're going to just be going off the rails, and there's like no end in sight for you of being able to get back on your plan, whatever your plan is. It makes it just that much harder, as opposed to saying, I'm in control, I'm going to eat this when I go out, and I'm going to have that. And these are my choices, and whatever will be. I'm in control. I'm not out of control. And then go from there. I think that's a much safer place to be. I don't know. That's just me. This is just my biased opinion. Think about it. Think about these things for yourself so that you can really go into the holiday season with an open mind as to how you're going to plan to deal with it, because it is worth giving it some thought. And we may each do things a little bit differently, which is fine, depending what plan we're on, depending what is good for us and not. Some people, they have to be regimented 99.9 or maybe even 100%. I personally am not of that group. That doesn't work for me. I'd sooner just decide that I'm going to have something, own up to it, and move forward than to deprive myself and then be angry and then make a pit stop the next day and go do some crazy thing that I would never think of doing in terms of eating crap, right? Right. So this week was a gain. We'll see what next week brings. Whatever it brings, it brings. my hope is to do well with my eating, to kind of wrap my head around what it is I'm trying to do next. And it may or may not be a good time of year for me to do this, but I really feel the need to change. And what I was doing was keeping me stagnant, and that's not a good place for me to be. So I need to be focused. I need to be planning. And that makes me feel like I have control, because I do have control when I'm doing things like that. And that's a much, for my mental health, a better place for me to be in terms of my healthy eating and my weight loss. So on that note, I'm going to now ask you to do something good for yourself so that you can keep yourself on your road to getting healthy. If you're not already there, that will help you get on the road, because it's really important that we take good care of ourselves. No one can do it for us. And it is hard. It is not easy to do this. However, if I can do this, you can do this, because there's certainly nothing extra special about me. And therefore, I have faith, great faith, that you will be able to do what it is that you want to set out to accomplish to do. And I want to see you be healthy. So for now, I will thank you very much for having watched. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, it would help my channel immensely if you did. Commenting and sharing to people that you think might enjoy my channel. Commenting on my videos really would help me a lot. Why? I'm not even interested in how many people watch. But those of you that do watch, I am interested to know what you think and how you're doing. And if nobody comments, I don't know it. I feel like I'm out here in like the YouTube abyss by myself. So if you don't mind giving me a comment, those of you who religiously do, I thank you so much for taking the time. Those of you who aren't or haven't, please consider doing so, because I really genuinely, it makes me feel good to know people, what people think, what's going on with you, and how you might be feeling about the holidays or about whatever. It would be nice. It's nice to read comments and to be able to respond. I feel like it's more personalized that way. So if you don't mind, it would be greatly appreciated. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to, again, thank you very much for having stopped in. And I will look forward to seeing you again very soon in the next video. And I hope that you're going to be well, my friends. Take good care. Bye for now.